the Your Little Castle Show. We're back here with our expert, Alex, and he's going to tell us some more about why it is so important to have an expert that knows what they're talking about. Stay tuned, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to Your Little Castle Show. We are, I'm excited because I get to talk to experts who really know their stuff. And it was interesting talking to you, the emphasis you had on those core values. That's kind of what struck me. And I don't have too many people bring those up. I don't think I've ever had anybody ever bring them up before. And not that it's they weren't doing their job, or they weren't. Just, we all end up talking about different things depending on what our focus is. But we led to that. I'm not sure how we got there, but that just kind of struck me. That's important. But have those focused, that basis for your company and what you stand for.
Absolutely. It's very important.
Very important, especially for the longevity of and taking care of your business and taking care of your clients. Very important. With that in mind, I hear all the time about how people do not want to deal with the insurance companies. And if they do try to take on an insurance company, that it may not turn out so well for them because that's not what they do as an expert. Tell me how you help people by helping walk them through the insurance process.
Sure. So there's a couple phases of the insurance process. One is initial contact, and so we always recommend that somebody call us out prior to calling their insurance company. Okay. We have, every storm has a wall, right? And so I've seen homes and neighborhoods get damaged. Their neighbor has zero hail damage or wind damage on their roof. It's the nature of it. And so we always recommend that you have us come out, understand who the insurance company is. Every insurance company has a different standard that they would qualify a roof for replacement for. And so our number one goal is to come out, assess damages, understand if that's a viable option for you to be able to file a claim. And so the second step would be, if you do have damage, we get an insurance adjuster out there. No two insurance adjusters are created equal. They're generally really great people. Everyone's just trying to do their job. Sometimes you get somebody out there that has 3 months of experience. Maybe they're not steep qualified and have a difficult time climbing the roof. And so there's just so many variables that play into this that it's really important that you have somebody that has experience, that really understands how this works, what they're looking at, what damage is, how shingles function, how they're repaired and replaced, to be able to offer another perspective at that meeting. So the goal would be to have them, assuming that the roof has enough damage to warrant replacement, the goal would be to have them write a scope of work, the adjuster. That's kind of the third phase of this. Is once we have an approval from an insurance company and we know they're providing coverage to this item, we want to make sure that they're including all of the pertinent line items that it actually takes to replace the roof properly. So all your flashings, all your shingles, starter course, everything that's involved in replacing a roof, we want to make sure that that's included in the insurance estimate. Not just making sure that you're paid appropriately. Generally speaking, insurance companies usually pay relatively well. And so most roofers aren't opposed to the way that they pay or the amount that they pay. It's usually an itemization issue where they're missing 5 or 6 components of the roof system. And so our job would be to go talk to that adjuster and make sure that they're actually including those items. So we have to provide documentation, provide estimates, provide all sorts of code documentation and things of that nature to help them warrant those items to be added into the scope of work. And so that's generally something that's really difficult for a customer to create on their own, right?
Yeah, I say that's a lot. There's so much here to comprehend. How could anyone ever even begin to take this on their own, unless they, I'll become a Google expert or a YouTube expert, right? I'll Google search it. I'll watch some videos, but there's no way you could comprehend and be able to deal with all this. We've talked about 5 or 6 different phases, steps. What were you talking? What? Mm-hmm. I'm good at what I do for a living. Outside of that, I get the experts to come in and do what they do. Is that where you get to help consumers?
Yes, that is a big area that we get to help consumers, especially with all the increased storm activity that we've had. A lot of the work that we're doing in these last couple of years have been working with insurance companies. And so we have a tremendous amount of experience working with them. And so building good relationships with the insurance companies is also vitally important, especially when there's increased claim activity. They get busy. It's really difficult for them to handle all the activity from contractors and homeowners. So, finding a roofer that has really good reputation and really good working relationship with your agent can also be very helpful in getting accomplished what you're trying to accomplish.
That would seem to make sense, everybody. Why would you want to take something on like this if it was a $3,000, $2,000, $1,000? Maybe not as much, but man, when you're talking about a roof, it's $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. Don't dabble with that. As a semi-pro, you don't want to be semi-pro. You want to get your experts. Alex Kitcher knows what he's talking about.
Yes, sir.
Did I say your last name correctly?
Yes, you did.
All right. And that's just kind of a no-brainer, but we want to emphasize that. And that's why we like to bring on those leaders in our community, the people that we can highlight that we have seen the results they've gotten. We've seen the reviews they've got, and we want to put them on so they can come in and share what they know with you so you can do this best for your needs when you have a problem, when you have a roof that fails, when you've had a tornado that comes through. We had 2 tornadoes last year, not 5, not 4, not 3, but 2. Put up my rings for everybody there. Residential or commercial? You said you do a little bit of both, about 10% commercial, but the rest is residential. How much do you do? What do you enjoy about each one of those?
Well, residential, it's far less transactional. We can build relationships. I have customers still to this day that I've made friends with and been active friends with them for many years now. And so it's getting involved in the community, building relationships. It's the people aspect of it that makes that part of it really enjoyable. It's our bread and butter. You know, it pays the bills. It's a really fun. It's very cyclical, and so we get to do this with a lot of different people, and so it's the people. That's the thing we like about the residential. Thing we like about the commercial, it's a lot more work. It's a lot different scope of work, and so it's usually a little more in depth. Takes a little more research. It's a lot more work. So it's fun. It's very rewarding to finish a commercial roof and say we did that. We're a smaller company, and so we're starting to get into the commercial world. I've done a lot in my past, and so since I've started my company, started residential, we are going to start pushing a little bit heavier in commercial in the coming years. So we're really excited to jump into some of that stuff.
Well, on either side of those, it's just good to have somebody you can count on. That's why I love working with smaller businesses, because how often is it the case that do you have your hands on just about every job? You're overseeing it, you're making sure, and if they have an issue, if there's something that they have a question about or something that they see is not going the way they comprehend, they get to talk to the owner.
Yes.
That's going to be able to deal with this and help make sure that they understand what they're getting.
Absolutely. Yep. It's pretty rare that has to happen, but if ever it's needed, I'm certainly more than happy to talk to any of my customers. We have a really wonderful team. They're very good problem solvers. They're very good communicators. So if you look, like we looked at the review before, it's Jake, it's Garrett, it's Taryn. You know, a lot of people in my office and part of my team. They love our community. They're from our community, and so serving to the best of their ability is also a big passion for them, which is excellent.
Well, and we'll put that up again for everybody to take a quick look at. But lots of great reviews with wonderful things that are being said, but that's because you guys have put the time in. You got those core and fundamental beliefs that have provided for that to be something that helps with the sustenance of your company. You can build a company based on these kinds of response. Versus, I love my big guys, and I'm probably cutting myself out of getting some sponsorships here, but I love the big guys, except there's just so much more of a process to get through to talk to somebody who has a solution for me. I don't have to go escalate to the next second level support, goes to the third level, who goes to the vice president, who goes to the director, who goes to, or director to the vice president, who goes up to, and then the president goes, what are you talking about? That was 6 months ago. And it's just, you don't deal with that when you work with smaller businesses, and that's why I want to give a shout out for all those small businesses. You do a really great job. And founded and based out of close to where Cardinal Cowboy grew up, Fenton, Missouri. Washington, just about 15, 20-minute drive out Highway Farty Far. How's that? We say Highway Farty Far. My mom says Farty Far. 44, everybody. On down to Springfield there, where you can watch Springfield Cardinals if you ever get down to it. Well, let's talk a little bit about this. Tell me a time when, I can only imagine you've had hundreds of clients now, if not thousands, but hundreds of clients. How many times have you had somebody, there's been a few, where tough situation, you knew that they were stuck, maybe they got misled by somebody that they were previously working with, but you had to step up and take care of somebody and help them out?
Yeah. So we have a really interesting, a really good example would be something that just happened to us this past month. So there was another company. This is where the honest and dishonesty comes in. And again, back to our core value, I'm going to hit on that a couple of times here. Yeah. But being a trusted advisor, we serve our community with our consumers' best interests in mind. And so we had a situation, we had a customer come into our office. They had signed a ton of paperwork with another company, and the adjuster had not been to the home yet. there's no scope of work and there's no dollar figures on this contract, and yet they have, 10 to 12 signatures on this paperwork. They asked us to look at it. I try to stay out of other companies' business. We're very focused on our own mission, but this guy really needed some help. He didn't know what to do. I advised him to go talk to an attorney because he had signed legal documentation with another company. And so ultimately what ended up happening was he and his attorney got that corrected, but he came to us as a trusted advisor, looking for our consultation, looking for our advice. We're actually just about to put a roof on his house next week. And so just being that company where people can come to and seek advice, even if it ends up this gentleman didn't do business with us, seeing him walk out of the door in a better place than when he came in is something that's satisfying to us. And so, and we've had other circumstances where people have had really bad leaks. With the tornado, a lot of tree limbs come down and they come through the house. And so a lot of larger companies don't want to deal with stuff like that because that's not a full roof replacement. That's replacing a piece of decking and a couple of shingles, So responding quickly, taking tree limbs out of people's homes, patching that up so they don't get the mold and all the stuff inside their home. So again, just serving our community and helping anyone and everyone that needs it.
Well, that's the fundamentals for what we like to emphasize here as Your Little Castle Show, because you're literally helping everyone with their little castle, their little corner of the world. And if they can't find people to trust, they're gonna be in a tough situation. They will work until they do find somebody. And you see the reputation and the skill and the work that's been done. And back to those core values, I've been poking around your website looking. There's all kinds of great information out there. Really easy to schedule people too. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. But it seems like you guys have the fundamentals down for what it is that it makes for a successful business. And by chance, if you saw that first show, everybody, check it out. By chance, I picked one of 85 reviews that are all 5-star, where there was a customer and they had a very small repair. Mm-hmm. And yet you came through. And those small repairs, they don't pay a lot right now, but they could turn into more business later. And just do what's right the first time and help everybody. And that will build a reputation that you'll earn.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Well, we're going to take another quick jump into our community here, everybody. We've got a lot of charities, a lot of organizations we work with. If you know anybody who deserves to be highlighted, let us know. One of my good friends just texted me yesterday, talked at the Cardinal game. They were there. I was there. We didn't see each other at the game. They were actually yelling down at me from where they were sitting up above us, and I didn't hear them. But she texted me later. She says, "Hey, I've got a great person who works here at the stadium that deserves to have their record, their history, their work ethic, and what they stand for highlighted." And so we're looking for lots of people that are interested in doing those kinds of things. So if you know anyone like that, hit us up. Let us know. We got lots of great sponsors and businesses that like to join on that. But let's jump in here. We're going to talk a little bit more about what we're doing in the community, and here's some fun for you. Will Bates, everybody, will be inspired. Tell me about the event you got going on here.
Oh, we got a golf tournament today. Got some people coming out to support our military veterans and first responders. Everything that we raise today goes towards benefiting them, mental and physical health, overall wellness, wellness retreats, outdoor retreats, gym memberships. You think of it, you name it. That's what we do. So this is all to benefit them. I appreciate everybody coming out and taking action. Thank you.
We're at Old Hickory Golf Course. Been here for a number of events. Great crowd here.
Yeah.
How many people turn out for this thing so far?
There'll be at least 170 people here.
170 golfers, everybody. All right, if they need the Cardinal Cowboy to give out some free golf lessons, I might be doing that later. Don't wait for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
All right, man. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Get up. We'll see you guys. Get up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up. Well, there we go. Lots of fun we get to do in the community and some leaders there. If you see my buddy Will be inspired. Gosh, love what he's doing, and went out to his golf tournament this year. Got connected him through my mortgage business partner. I have my mortgage license. A lot of people don't realize that, but we're helping in this space. And so people that when they have a new roof they need, we connect you with the right people that can do that too. Buying a house, selling a house, all that kind of fun stuff. But let's jump right in here. The technology is always changing, always evolving, and it seems that you can't keep up. But if you'd like to get some tips about that, read our book, Magnetized Media, the foreword written by yours truly, the Cardinal Cowboy. This is the #1 seller on Amazon, and we will give you the tips. It's outlined pretty clearly. I was impressed. That's why I decided to work with these guys. They literally outline for you, like in bullet points, versus a bunch of text that you're supposed to read and read and read. But the internet has just changed the way business is done. Tell me how it's impacted your business, Alex, and what you guys do to use the interwebs these days.
Yeah, so social media and technology and all sorts of different things there. Social media is a really big one. We're able to reach a lot more people. We have a lot more exposure for our business, so that's been a big driver in the growth of our business and helping people. Different systems and automations and capabilities there have really, really helped us streamline our business, data collection, forecasting. I mean, we have tools in our business now that didn't exist 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, we're able to accomplish so much more in so much less time, and we're able to be more accurate for our customer. We have the software that we have in place and the systems that we utilize help us hit that mark and serve our core values too, because they help us be transparent with them, and they help us really connect and grow. So.
Yeah, technology is just, if you're not keeping up with it, it's going to swallow you up, because I've got a lot of the guys, it's interesting when we talk to people about being on the show, some of them will be like, well, why would I want to be on the team? I'm like, you don't understand well, you can do this with social media. Mm-hmm. Social media has really changed the way the world is done. And good content. People just want to learn. They want to have good information, and you can share so much more readily. But I know there's a lot of programs out there that are very important. Eagle View, is that one? Or
Eagle View, yeah, satellite measurements. I mean, that's one technology. It's been around for a little while, but we no longer really have to go up with a tape measure and just hand measure roofs and spend an hour drawing it and measuring it. And so, yeah, we could just pull a measurement report, and right there it spits out everything we need to order the roof, and it's amazing. So
technology, everybody, it's the way of the world. Well, tell me the process. I can imagine there's some of that technology you implement. I can see here, I'm going to put up on the wall. These are our TV wall behind us, but I'll share with everybody the big wall behind us. And right here in the top right corner, if you see that button that's underneath the ABC 30 there, but click that, request service schedule now. Right here, people can literally just click in through here and then start picking times. And this will go synchronize with your guys' calendars and schedule. And within a matter of a few minutes, they could have something scheduled and have somebody ready to come out to their house.
Yeah, so check out the website, click through, and schedule a time. If you need something from us, we are more than happy to help. We would love to work with you. Yeah, so you can use this calendar. It jumps right into our team calendar, and Jake, myself, one of our other guys will come out and get you taken care of. So.
Yeah, so that's the process, how they get started. What is the process after that?
So we would come out, do an inspection on the roof, see what you have going on, listen to your story first and foremost, figure out what your concerns are, try to understand what your goals are with the roof or gutters. We also do siding and things like that too. Our number one goal is to figure out where you're trying to go, and then we want to help you implement a roadmap to help get you there, right? And so we take a look at the roof, take a look at all the accessories on the roof, your gutters, the outside of your home. We provide a damage report. So what we do is give you a fair assessment of exactly what's going on, what needs to be repaired, what things can wait, what things can't wait, things of that nature. And then provide you an estimate. We provide an estimate on everything that we touch. That's not necessarily common practice in our industry, especially with people who do insurance work. They want to work directly with the company, and they want to just use the insurance company's scope of work. We do it a little differently. We provide an estimate based on everything. Everything that we see and what our costs are that are associated with this project. But we provide that estimate to the customer. We go into the home, we sit down, we discuss and see what all their options are. We talk about different qualities of materials, what their budget is, in things of that nature. So then from there, we would put a contract in place, pick out some shingle colors, which is always the fun part, right? And it's always really fun when somebody's doing siding and roofing together. There's always this fun push and pull between the husband and wife, and they always have their difference of opinions on colors. You can imagine who usually wins that battle, but
I know who wins that battle.
Yeah, but that's a really fun part of the process, is picking the colors and then bringing everything to life. So we put everything into our software. We order your materials, schedule all of our guys to come out, get everything loaded up onto the roof as far as shingles are concerned, set up all of our protective equipment. So we use what's called a catch-all system. Not many roofing companies use this, but this is during the installation process. This is designed to protect the home from flying debris. I mean, it's roofing, it's dangerous. Roofs are steep. Sometimes shingles fall. They can damage windows, doors. They can damage landscaping and all sorts of different stuff. So this catch-all system, it props up against, up into the soffit, and it projects outward over the sidewalk or over the landscaping.
Oh, wow.
It's a canvas barrier system. And so anything that comes down falls down and then lands in the yard on another tarp. So it keeps everything protected. So we install the roof, and then we'll send out an invoice and all the normal stuff from there. But that's generally the process. So.
Well, it sounds like you have that process pretty well nailed down. There's
Yeah.
a lot that goes into that, and especially the extra steps you'll take care to protect the house and the surroundings, because there's stuff flying, nails, those kinds
All sorts
of
of things.
Things you don't want. You want your kids picking up on those. How many times have you seen the kid? You got a flat tire because he got a nail. I had one in my car recently, and it was on the highway, but somebody dropped some nails, and it was actually a screw. Didn't pick up after it, obviously, and there it is. Now I'm going to the auto shop to get a stent put into my wheel. Now that tire probably isn't going to last near as long. So those are the things that you just want to make sure, especially when you're talking about somebody's house and where they live and breathe. Tell me then, what of all the challenges you've had as a business owner, give us an example of something that was a challenge you overcame and something that helped you to grow as a business owner.
Yeah, so I mean, the first major challenge was going into business as a whole, right?
Right.
Nobody ever teaches you how to start a business, and I imagine even if you took courses, there's no designated roadmap, and I think that journey is different for everybody. So starting a company to begin with is a huge, huge, huge challenge. Another big challenge is finding the right people that you can trust, that
Right.
your community can trust. That's the hardest thing. And I'm sure you hear a lot of people talk about hiring and how hiring is a little bit difficult. But it's difficult, and I think it's a good thing that it's difficult, because it means that you care, and you want them to come into your organization and do really great things for your customers. And so hiring is a really big challenge. We have several positions coming up into next year that I'm excited and not excited at the same time
Right.
to try to fill. I'm excited because it means that we're growing. It means that we're able to serve people more powerfully. So hiring is always a challenge. Marketing is always a challenge. things of that nature. So, but really, I mean, you put good people around you that are disciplined, and you put good people around you that really care about what the mission is, and you listen to them and let them have input, and people will take care of people, and so we've done really, really well with having the right people come in and growing steadily, and just building a really strong foundation. So
that's what we got. Great tips we're getting here from Alex, Mr. I'm going to put your name up there so everybody can see it. Oh, it came up and it popped off. Mr. Kitcher really knows what he's talking about. Some insightful, just some depth you bring to the situation here to help people understand. It's not just about selling roofs. It's about making sure that this whole process is followed, things are taken care of, every need for the consumer is met. And it seems like you kind of thought this all out, and that's what helps. We found on the website here, everybody, I'll put this up real quickly, but on the About page, I'm going to pull this up for everybody, but take a look here. And here those are, those fundamentals, those core: trusted advisors, impeccable with our word, extreme ownership, our core values. So there's somebody that that's taken the time, where they even took the time to put this on their website. So good to see that. Tell me then, what is one major objection? If a lot of times people have questions, they're like, I'm not sure where this came from, I'm not sure how this is getting done. Help me to understand what I'm buying into here. What do people? What's the biggest question people have for you when they're looking at getting a new roof?
It's kind of centered around what we had talked about before, and it's usually education and vetting. I find that if you are very educational, there's not really a ton of objections that come up. I mean, price is a really big one, right?
Right.
And the way that we generally overcome that is by explaining and showing and touching and feeling materials so they can understand the differences, and showing studies and research and this and that, so that way they can really understand what it is that they're getting. I would say price is probably the number one objection that we get. It's in timing. One big objection is we don't want to do our roof in the winter. You absolutely can. You want really good weather. I mean, 40 degrees, sun's out. Those shingles are probably 55, 60 degrees. And so depending on the manufacturer, they'll seal down just fine, and you can absolutely roof through the wintertime, unless it's, outside of the, restrictions that I just showed. But I would say that's probably the biggest objection. It's just the wintertime thing. So it's usually centered around trust and price.
And I want to touch one more time about your expertise with your jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That discipline has helped you. Does that help you to be successful in your business, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Jiu-jitsu requires a tremendous amount of discipline, physically and mentally. I train 5, 6, 7 days a week. I'm in the weight room 3 times a week. So it's become a place that, there's such good community there, but to develop skill sets and to develop your mind and your body, it requires a tremendous amount of discipline. It's really hard to go anywhere if you're only doing it once or twice a week.
There you go. Stay tuned, everybody.